Hi, boys and girls. So today we are going to continue looking at exponents in word problems. We're going to see exponents in exponential form and in repeated multiplication. So we're going to do a few problems together, and then you're going to do 3 problems on your own. So number 1 that we're going to do together says, a certain bacterium splits itself into 2 identical cells in one day. Look at the picture. Here's the cell, and it's being split into 2 more cells. Each of those new cells is capable of splitting itself into 2 identical cells in one day. So the first day there are 2 cells, and the second day there are 2 times 2 cells, and so on. Write and evaluate an expression using a base and an exponent to represent the number of cells present at the end of the 7th day. So it tells me here that the first day there are 2 cells. And the second day, there are 2 times 2 cells. How would I write 2 times 2 in exponential form? Well, the number 2 is being multiplied. That's my factor. And it is being multiplied 2 times. On the third day, I would have to do 2 times 2. This is the second day. And then the third day, they're going to split again into 2 identical cells. So on my third day, I would have again my factor of 2. And how many times is it being multiplied? 3 times. So what do you notice? The second day, my exponent is a 2, and the third day, my exponent is a 3. What do you think it's going to look like on the 7th day? Well, it's going to stay 2 being the factor, and then on the 7th day, my exponent will be a 7, because, let's take a look. This was my second day. I had 2 times 2. My third day was another 2. My fourth day multiplied by another 2. My fifth day, my sixth day, and my 7th day. And I know that this repeated multiplication can be written as 2 to the 7th power. So my answer would be 2 to the 7th power. Now notice that they want you to solve what that is. They want you to figure out what is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So let's take a look at it. If I have all of these 2's being multiplied together 7 times, I know that 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. And then I need to multiply by all of the other 2's, so I'm going to copy and paste them by bringing them down. 4 times 2, I know, is 8. 4 times 2 is 8. So I need to bring down the rest of my multiplication in the equation. Let's keep going. I know that 8 times 2 is 16. So I use the 8 times 2, but I still have 3 2's I still need to multiply. So I'm going to copy and paste it and bring them down. 16 times 2 is 32. So I did 16 times 2, and I still have what's left here, times 2 times 2. Now, if I do 32 times 2, that is going to give me 64. So I did 32 times 2. I've got 1 2 left to multiply. And if I multiply 64 times 2, I'm going to get 128. Okay, so let's see. Let's put in 128 cells on the 7th day. Check your work. Oh, let me just erase the screen first. I'm going to It won't let me check my work, but this is correct. Okay, so let's move on to number 2. Number 2 says, write the expression in exponential form. Enter the correct answer in the boxes. So it wants a base and it wants an exponent. Well, I know that my base is the number being multiplied. So in this case, it is a 9. And my exponent is how many times I'm multiplying the number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So 9 to the 5th power is my exponent. I check it, that is correct. Part B says, enter the correct answer in the boxes. Now, although it's fractions, the same rules apply. Okay, so 1/8 is being multiplied. My factor is 1/8. So that's still going to be my base. Now to make it a fraction, I need to use this tool over here. See how it has the fraction? So 1/8 is the number being multiplied. And how many times is it being multiplied? 3 times. So nothing changed. It still wants a base and an exponent. So even though it's a fraction, that's all you got to do. Let's take a look at number 3. Write the exponential form, so it's already given to you in exponential form, write it in repeated multiplication. So 6 is my base, so that is the number I am multiplying, and my exponent is 3, so I'm multiplying 6 3 times. Now, 6 times 6 is 36, so let's do this out over here. 6 times 6 times 6 is what I need to do. 6 times 6 is 36. Then I just need to multiply it one more time. I need to do 36 times 6. If I multiply it out, I'll get 216 as my answer. So if I go in, erase this, and I put 216 as my answer, that is correct. Let's look at number 4. It's asking me to do the same thing. Write the exponential form as an equivalent repeated multiplication expression. So my base is 2, so that is my factor, 2, and it's being multiplied 6 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So now let's look at it. Let's see if we can do this in our head. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. And 32 times 2 is 64. So my answer should be 64. Check. Got it. Okay, number 5. Explain the expression. Complete the sentences. The number blank is used as a repeated factor. Remember, our factor is also our base. So the number 10 is the factor. 10 is used as the factor how many times. We have to check our exponent. If my exponent is 5, that means 10 is used as a factor 5 times. Let's check. Awesome. And number 6 is a word problem. Carrie recruits 3 of her friends to sell candies to raise money for a new playground. The next day, each of her 3 friends recruits 3 more friends. This pattern continues for 5 days. Write an exponential expression to represent the number of new recruits on the 5th day. So let's take a look. She has 3 friends, 3 of her friends to sell candy. The next day, each of her 3 friends recruits 3 more friends. Then, on the 3rd day, 3 more friends. And on the 4th day, each of those friends grabs 3 more friends. And on the 5th day, they grab 3 more friends. So my factor is 3. That is the number being multiplied, so it is going to be my base. And my exponent is how many times the number 3 is being multiplied. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my exponent is going to be 5. So it wants me to answer the question, and it says, the number blank is used as a repeated factor blank times. Well, what number is being used as my repeated multiplication? Well, that's 3. And how many times? Let me check my exponent. 5 times. Check. Awesome. Let's erase the screen. Now, part B says, write the expression as repeated multiplication and as an exponent. So that's what we did above. We said 3 friends on the first day. They each get 3 more friends on the second day, the third day, the fourth day, and the fifth day. And we wrote this. My factor is 3, so that is my base. And my exponent is how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And you check, and we are all good. So now you're going to do 3 questions on your own. Let's look at the 3 questions that you're going to be completing. Number 1 says, a farming community begins with 1 resident. Then, every year, the number of residents multiplies by 10. Write an expression using an exponent to represent the number of residents in the community after 5 years. Enter the correct answer in the boxes. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 says, on a tree, the trunk splits into 5 branches. And each branch splits into 5 smaller branches. And each of those branches split into 5 very thin branches. How many very thin branches are there on the tree? So you have to write it as an exponent and then figure out how many branches that really is. Number 3 asks you to explain 2 to the 10th power. You have to answer parts A, B, and C. Complete the sentence for part A. Part B also says complete the sentence. The base of the expression is blank and the exponent is blank. Part C, it wants you to complete the sentence by finding the value. So what is 2 to the 10th power if you multiplied it out? Okay? If you have any questions, you can comment on Google Classroom and I will be happy to help.